welcome back to C++ tutorial with Dr. Colvin. So today we're just going to pick up where we left off yesterday with our decision structures, and we're going to introduce you to a new decision structure called the switch case. So yesterday we looked at how to make a decision based on the inputs that the user gave, and the if then, which is great for that. If you don't know what the values that the user is going to enter, you can make a decision based on that. And we had this preset array of lotto numbers, and then the user can put in their guess for each lotto number, and then depending on how many numbers they get correct, we have a variable that will increment. And then we had it spitting out you've matched X numbers. So instead of that statement, you've matched X numbers, we want a more personalized message that'll say, you've matched 0 numbers, please try again. Or, congratulations, you've matched all 5 numbers, you may quit your job, kazaa, go buy, a new Lamborghini, So something along those lines, depending on how many numbers they've matched. And you can't really do that unless you know exactly how many numbers they've matched. So the switch case, it's another decision structure. It's looks like this, the keyword switch. And then the variable that you're comparing. It has to be one variable per switch case. So you're matching it exactly. And the best case to think about using a switch case is like if you ever see a pop-up that says, do you wish to continue, yes or no, enter Y or N, that's a perfect place to put a switch case. It's a lot less code, and it's an exact match only. So you're comparing your variable to an exact match, and then you're moving on. So you notice that instead of having to write if match nums equal to 0, I can just write case 0. So it's a lot less code, and it's an exact match. It's more precise. So again, you have your switch keyword, your variable in parentheses, and again, we start and we stop our structure with the curly brackets. So inside of our curly brackets is the body of our switch case. And that's where you put each case or each value that you want it to compare. So I have a case 0 and I have a case 5, and then you notice I have this word down here, and it's default. The default is kind of like your catch-all or your else. If none of these cases are true, it's going to go to my default. Because remember, it can only find one true statement for each structure. So for each if, it's going to find one true statement. For each case, it's going to find one true statement. So if it doesn't find 0 to be true, doesn't find 5 to be true, it's going to go to the default and it's going to execute that. But if it finds 0 to be true, it'll execute that, and then it'll execute, or it'll stop executing and find the exit and continue on. So the case looks a little bit different, so there's some syntax that you need to be really careful of, because it's syntax that we don't normally use. For example, the colon. So after you put your value that you're comparing, so I want to compare it to 0. So I have to put my value there, and then I put a colon. That tells the compiler I'm done putting my value. Anything after this is the body of my to execute for 0. So your value and then a colon, and then this keyword down here, which is break. So what the compiler does is if 0 is a match for match nums, if match nums does equal 0, then 0 is a match, and this is a true statement. It's going to come in here and it's going to execute everything after the colon to the keyword break. And then break tells the compiler, exit out, we're done, I'm done with the case 0. So the compiler will execute anything after the colon until it finds a break. So if I don't include my break, it's going to execute until it finds a break, which means it could execute this all the way down to case 5's break. So you have to be careful to include your break. And I'll show you what that looks like. So with the break, and if I don't match any numbers, it'll look like this. It says, sorry, you did not match any numbers. If I have forgotten to include my break, it should give me the exact same value, right? It's because I'm still going to enter no matches, but it doesn't. It says sorry you didn't match and congrats you won the lotto. So you notice that it skipped down to case 5 and then it found the break down there. And if I forgot the break at case 5, it would go down to the default and print invalid as well. So you got to make sure that you include that break, otherwise it's just going to keep executing. So again, the switch case, you have the keyword switch, your variable in parentheses, your curly brackets to define your switch case structure, and then you define each case individually, and then you end those with the break statement. You define those with the colon. Okay, I hope you guys had enjoyed this lesson, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day.